part, so I
I can
think we
tell.
should be live.
We are live. So, what's up?
Not much. Hello, welcome, happy Lunar New Year to anyone who
Yeah.
follows the Chinese calendar.
Year of the
It is.
Tiger, baby. Let's go.
Is it the year of the tiger?
Yes, it is.
That right? Somebody start playing Survivor.
It's the eye of the tiger. It's the thrill of the fight. Rising up to the challenge of our rival. That's a good song for Taskmaster because people are constantly like doing fighting for survival in Taskmaster.
I suppose they're fighting for their metaphorical lives.
Oh yeah, I had a thought. Have you seen Squid Game?
No, no, I haven't.
Are you aware of what happens in Squid Game?
Yes, we do. I do not think we should give Greg Davies the ability to kill people who underperform.
Um, I was going to ask if all 60 Taskmaster contestants competed in the show in if it was Squid Game style, not like if there were 6 tasks and everyone had to do each task, but they are eliminated after the end of each one. Who do you think would win?
I think I think that we'd probably get Hugh Dennis, Johnny Vegas, or maybe Ramesh Ranganathan having murdered the other contestants in their sleep. And that whichever one of them survived that would be the winner. I don't think they'd
Although
actually.
something tells me that Ed Gamble would win because Ed Gamble has to win every single show he's on.
I think that Ed Gamble would get actively murdered. I think there's a very large contingent of the guests who, if it was their life on the line versus other people, they would become like the first targets.
Who do you think would be first to drop?
Nish.
Speaking of Nish, he is on this
Nish,
series.
Roshin Kennedy, um, definitely some of the like
Catherine
less
Parkinson.
No, I'm thinking of like who would be the least likely to like hold their own in a fight, because I maintain that these people would actively murder each other like off screen.
How would Victoria Corn? Do you think Victoria Corn Mitchell would be done quickly?
She'd either be towards the end or in the middle.
What about
Like,
What about Mike Wozniak? I think the final could be Ed Gamble versus Mike Wozniak. I can see that as a final.
Mike Wozniak would pull a knife out of somewhere and stab. Like, I think Mortimer would live quite a while.
TikTok, it's death o'clock.
Yeah, no, he'd say that too. Like he'd pull like a folding knife out of like presumably his ass and just like stab someone through the eye and make like a joke about visiting the optometrist.
I'm sorry, I'm just scrolling through Instagram.
And for those of you who are thinking that I'm thinking of like the Hunger Games, no, I am aware of the plot of Squid Game. I'm also 100% certain that if you put all of these people in a room together, like they do in between the tasks of Squid Game, and told them that only one person would survive, they'd kill each other. They'd 100% kill each other.
I laugh because I just saw a hilarious newspaper headline. I don't know if it's real or not, but I still want to read it to you.
Oh, what is it?
Okay, first of all, I saw this on Instagram, so I don't have a great deal of proof or belief that this is a real headline. Are you ready for me to read it to you?
Yes.
Ripped squirrel with six-pack and huge nutsack shocks dog walker.
That's honestly, I think that is something. But I remembered something I saw last week, or even the week. Yeah, last week. And I'm going to send it to you because this is a hilarious joke.
Are you going to send it on Discord?
I'm going to send it on something. I think it's going on Instagram.
All right, I
Uh,
will. I will read it out for the people when you send it to me.
it's just a headline. I can give some context for this. Uh, Jesus Christ. There we go. Yeah, I sent it to you just now. For context, this is a Facebook post from a like freedom of speech and education group called the Foundations for Individual Rights in Education, and they are protesting against the policies of Emerson College in, I think, New York City. And why don't you take a look at the picture they've included?
Okay.
Uh huh.
Okay, so I will read it out. There is a picture of Emerson College in some
I
American city.
Yeah, I don't actually. Boston.
Boston. Of course, it's in Boston. Every college in America is in Boston.
No.
Uh, I know I'm exaggerating. And there is a van parked in front of it that has Emerson kinda sus written on it.
Yeah, and
And
actually,
there's a
you
website
can
called emersonkindasus.com. What if that's the episode title? Emersonkindasus.com.
that is what it is, and I'm actually on emersonkindasus.com right now. It is
Link the
okay.
website below in YouTube.
Yeah,
In
it,
YouTube, link the website below.
this is actually a really good cause. Apparently, some students at Emerson College from like a conservative leaning group put out stickers that were critical of the Chinese government, and apparently Emerson College cracked down on them. And they're, of course, they're Among Us themed stickers that said China kind of sus. And so Emerson is now being retaliated against by FIRE, which is that Foundation of Individual Rights and Education group I was talking about earlier, who does this kind of stuff where they're a free speech advocacy group for higher education.
Do we have any other option than to call our episode emersonkindasus.com?
No, no, we don't.
Or should it be emersonkindasus.com or just emersonkindasus?
No, emersonkindasus.com. That's the .com is the critical part.
Okay. If you what color are you normally in Among Us?
I've never played Among Us.
What color would you be?
There are colors.
Yes, it's basically fucking hell. There's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink, black, white, brown, light blue, and a couple of others.
You said orange, right?
Yes.
Sure, I'll be orange.
I've only played a handful of times, but I'm always
I
the black one.
I am really not. When it comes to a game like that, I don't care. You know,
Sorry, I'm just moving my mic around a bit.
yeah. I don't really care about thing like cosmetics in games, really, which is why loot boxes don't work on me most of the time. But yeah, no, I this is a brief tangent into Emerson kind of sus. But if you do go to emersonkindasus.com, it is a website created by this fire group devoted to this particular protest against Emerson College. So please be aware that you might not share the political views espoused in this website, and this is not an endorsement. But I do think that freedom of speech advocacy groups are okay.
Anyway, should we talk Taskmaster?
Yes, we should. This episode is called "The Lesbian or the Leprechaun," and
No,
it's the
it's
second.
I hate to correct you, but it is
Oh,
the
is
other
it the
way round.
leprechaun or the lesbian? Yes,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's that way round.
Yes, it's the second episode of season 5. Joining us once again are Aisling B., Sally Phillips, Mark Watson, Bob Mortimer, and that's it.
Yep.
And that's it.
Oh no, wait! We forgot someone. Little
No.
Alex Horn.
Oh yes, we did, and Large Gregory.
Lord Gregory.
But we do so we do have some banter in the beginning of this episode, which, I'm going to be real. I'm not always a huge fan of the initial Alex Gregg banter. This one I just have written down: Alex brushes his teeth with cheese.
It's like a cheese spread.
Yeah, it's probably some very soft cheese.
Yeah, like something
And
something so artificial, basically,
so it's like Velveeta.
or whatever. Yeah, it's Primula, but it's like squeezy
What's
cheese. Squeezy cheese.
Oh, okay. Okay, it's spray cheese. Okay, I got it. Yeah.
Um,
You know, and,
can I do the? Also, I can I do the
well,
prize task?
I was gonna say I did the prize task last time, so that is up. That is all you.
Yeah, thanks. Because it means I don't have to talk about the next task, and I have very little to say about the coconut flinging machine task.
I can absolutely take that one.
Okay. Anyway,
In fact, why don't you talk about this? My beer just overflowed, so I'm gonna go get a napkin.
okay. So while Joe gets a napkin, the prize task is hippest headwear, and upon watching this, anyone can tell that whoever wrote the tasks, mainly Alex Horn, does not understand youth culture because no one uses the word hip to show something cool anymore. That's like a word Dr. Doofenshmirtz would use in Phineas and Ferb. Joe, are you still there? Okay, he's not still there. Nish is up first. I didn't know we had a guy called Nish in the show. But anyway, someone called Nish apparently has wandered onto set, and his item of hip headwear is a Disneyland hat that was made for him, and it has Nishi written on it because that's his dad's nickname for him. But Nishi also means a very approachable, friendly, sexy girl, which Nish also is. This does not work as well when Joe is not here, but we progress. We move. Ashling B has brought in a
All right, I'm
Yorkshire.
back. What did I miss?
You missed an extremely awkward moment with me just talking by myself.
Sorry, I had to clean up the raspberry sour I thought I would try and drink.
Anyway, I've just talked about someone called Nish who apparently wandered on set with a piece of hip headwear. Apparently,
Oh yeah,
um,
that guy.
yeah. So
Well, he didn't really have hip headwear, was it?
no, but anyway, this is next is Ashling B, who was brought in a Yorkshire pudding hat worn by ex-Taskmaster contestant Dave Gorman.
I did like that hat. I really did. Is it I wasn't sure because I was watching this episode on my phone and taking notes at the same time. Was it actually like cloth shaped like a Yorkshire pudding, or was this like just like food item like strapped to Gorman's head?
I'd assume it'd have to be an actual food. I am going to absolutely murder my computer because Siri has just popped up again.
Can can you go into the episode and look, or do you want me to?
I mean, you can just type it into YouTube. I'd have to turn on my VPN and then type it into YouTube.
Oh yeah, that's right. You live in England,
And then
and you have.
I would have to go onto the Channel 4 website and sit through about 2.5 minutes worth of ads. Unless you're me, who uses a free invisible ad blocker.
Mm-hmm.
I won't
Okay,
name
hold
them
on.
because we're not sponsored by them. Unless you do want to sponsor us, free invisible ad blocker. Um, anyway, so yeah, the Yorkshire pudding hat is worn and endorsed by Dave Gorman. Next is
I'm
Sally.
looking at it, and it
Oh,
doesn't. I don't. It looks like it's made out of cloth. Gorman would be much less pleased looking if it wasn't, because it does look like it's made out of cloth.
well, if we're talking about foods becoming hats, why couldn't you have just brought in like a pork pie hat made of actual pork pies?
That's a terrible joke. That's a terrible joke. Oh, they have it on screen at the end. Oh, God, I don't know. Actually, it
Why are
looks
we
like
so caught up on this? It really does not matter.
Oh no, hold on, hold on. Yes, it matters. This is a podcast where we overanalyze it as a game show. I'm watching Sally Phillips put it on and it
Spoiler alert
flopped
for who
around.
won.
Oh, you did that last time. I'm watching her flop around on her head. I don't know. It's probably not, but I hope it is.
Hmm. I mean, she should have taken a bite out of it, and if she enjoys it, it's real. If she goes, like
I
Joe
mean, it's probably
Lycett.
an old uh Yorkshire
That's a
Yorkshire
good
pudding.
point, actually. If they're to keep it for a long time, if it's a real Yorkshire pudding, it's going to go bad at one point.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Anyway,
don't.
Sally, and all I've written down for Sally is hip hip beret.
Yep. Hip hip beret is so funny. It's a
It's a beret.
beret.
It's a beret hat with actual. Well, I don't think actual, but at least at the very least things that resemble human hips attached to
Yeah, they're like little
just
plastic skeleton
just over
hips.
the eye holes. Yeah,
It also has a balaclava, which the
get very
hips are
hot.
actually mounted to. Which
You get very
actually,
hot in that.
I do wonder about this. Is that they did say as the task best headwear. Technically, about like you could have anything that's worn on your head could be headwear. Nobody
Yeah,
did
like
that,
that includes like
but
a sunglasses or an Alice band or something.
yeah, nobody did that. But Sally actually was like, I wasn't sure, so I included the beret as part of it.
I actually have I have in my genuine possession a balaclava with cat ears,
Of course you do.
and
I don't.
there's no mouth hole. There's no mouth hole.
You keep saying these things, and I'm less and less surprised.
What would I told you if I have my room is actually a BDSM sex dungeon?
Not surprised, Emerson.
Really? Really?
No, no. I've from everything I know about you, that is not that surprising.
It's not actually. I'm not that weird, but yeah. Mark Watson, a hat with a neon sign that says Taskmaster, not even in the correct Taskmaster font.
If I listen, he got a custom neon hat made.
Yeah,
Let's give him some slack.
we can't cut him slack. Greg didn't even cut him any slack, and he paid.
I appreciate neon stuff like this. This is actually like not a word of a lie. I really like this.
Well, Mark
This
paid 400 quid for the hat.
yeah, custom neon's expensive.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Custom it's not like I you'd think that it's like, oh, he's showing off, but it's like this is how much it costs. That's I really like this hat. I really do. It's just that, this is a cultural difference between England and America, which is, if this were American Taskmaster, presuming that it's not a terrible version like we actually got, Mark saying that it costs $400 would be like, oh, yes, I would imagine so, because clearly a lot of work goes into that. And it's as opposed to England, where it's like, you paid £400 for that, to the bottom you go. Because
Anyway,
because
Bob
that's sort
has
of how it works.
anyway Bob has brought in a military hat for a future war, as he describes it.
It's a gift from his friend Vic, who he's done a lot of television shows with Vic. I don't remember his last name,
Vic Reeves.
but Vic Reeves. This is a
I
gift
think
from
so.
Vic
I think
Reeves.
so.
That's what
Vic
Bob said it was.
Vic
Bob said it.
Reeves. Yeah, Vic Reeves and Bob Mortimer.
Yeah, Vic Reeves gave this to him, and it's a military hat for a future war. And Bob said this, and then they showed it, and he's right. This is absolutely what it looks like if you're making a movie where it's like the dystopian future of 2030, because of course it would be, because of course the dystopia gets closer and closer every year. But if this were like the dystopian future, this is what they'd be wearing, and it's like a hat crossed with a loose fitting balaclava. with eye holes. It's great. I love it.
Huh. Anyway,
What?
yeah, I am distracted as hell. Um, I was supposed to be going out tonight, but that's not happening. Anyway, the scores: Sally, Hip Hip Beret gets 5. The Military Hat for a Future War by Bob gets 4. Ashling's Yorkshire Pudding Hat gets 3. Mark Watson's Neon Taskmaster Hat gets 2, and the Nishi Cap gets 1. Would you like to do Taskmaster
Yes,
Joe?
yes, I would, because I'm very surprised at how similar it was. My choices were to Greg's, but also they're not. And
Anyway,
there's one change. So yes, let's do Taskmaster
right.
Joe.
Roll awful Taskmaster Joe jingle. Taskmaster Joe. And we're back.
Right. So obviously in last place is Nish Kumar, because that's not even like, okay, I'm going to make a very controversial statement. That ball caps cannot be hip. There are kinds of ball caps that can approach being hip, but that style of cap, no, no. You've got to work real hard to overcome that initial downfall, and it doesn't. Aisling gets third place because it's there is a look that you can create out of that hat. I just don't know what it is. I really like Military Hat for a Future War. Like the whole aesthetic around that is great. And then Sally's, it wins because it's obviously because it fits the bill of the it goes to the letter of the task, but Mark also wins because he goes to the spirit. Because the hat that's a custom neon hat is automatically so cool that it's like, congratulations, you win.
I'm just checking. Did you give anyone 4th place?
No, Sally and Mark split first.
Okay.
They both get 5. They both get 5 points.
All right. Now I believe it's on to you for VT Task 2.
Yes, VT Task 1.
VT Task 1, sorry.
There are 4 this episode.
Although the last 2 are kind of quick, I'd say.
I know, but it felt like it was dragging on when I had to take notes on it. So task number 1, make the best coconut flinging machine. You have 20 minutes and 1 attempt. Furthest coconut fling wins. The task is presented on a coconut. Other notes is that the Taskmaster music is actually played doubled over itself on the intro to the task, which is just a little musical note.
Why do you make note of all these things?
Shut up, nerd! This is a podcast about the show.
Did you just call me a nerd? That is the biggest hypocrite. Why are you calling me a nerd? You're the one who analyzes the fuck out of music.
That's how jokes work, Emerson.
Fuck you.
You actually blew out your mic so much I didn't hear anything.
Fuck you, Joe.
No.
Do you like it when I whisper into the mic like this?
It doesn't. I think the audience is going to not enjoy it, but let's continue on. Other notes from before the.
Hey, here's a fun idea. What if we try to do an entire hour and a 10-minute episode in an ASMR style?
I don't want to do an hour and 10 minutes of ASMR. I don't want to do an hour and 10 minutes of ASMR. That sounds dull. That sounds.
We're going to be talking about Taskmaster.
That's not ASMR.
Do you like it when I whisper in your ear?
How do I cancel somebody else's life?
Wait, you want me to die?
Whatever makes you stop doing that.
Are you going to throw me in the Squid Game? Oh, full circle comedy. Full circle comedy.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyways, other notes from around this point in the task before they actually cut to anyone doing anything. Nish asks if he is a machine. The answer, of course, is no. This will not be the last time that a clearly not a machine is asked if it is a machine. Further on, we get the first three put together: Sally, Nish, and Ashling. They all raid the shed for implements. Ashling takes a tea break in the middle of this with like 8 minutes left, because of course she does. Uh, Sally ends up making a catapult. There's different kinds of medieval siege weaponry involved here. Sally makes a catapult and uses Alex as the fulcrum. She seems really set on the word fulcrum and says it like 4 or 5 times
She double
during
fulcrumed it.
this 2 minutes. And
Then they say she double fulcrumed it.
Yes, it didn't work.
That could have been I'm sure that double fulcrumed it was in contender for the episode title.
Yeah, I bet. But I don't really remember hearing that, but it does sound very funny. Nish makes a bow out of some kind of vaguely stretchy material that he finds, and Ashling creates a slingshot out of that same material. And the problem that all of them have is that nothing that they did worked. Ashling's barely goes anywhere. She duct taped her coconut to a roller skate, and it would have gone further if she'd pushed the roller skate down the drive.
Would that have been flinging it though?
I'm sure if she threw it appropriately, I think she could have just flung it and had it roll away.
If she'd somehow thrown it by other means. Actually, this is essentially what she did. She threw the coconut via something, and it just didn't land on the wheel side.
Yeah, if she'd not taped the coconut to the roller skate, it would have gone further. She got 4 meters 40, and then Nish. Which the funny thing about Nish and Ashling's is that you think it's not going to work. You think it's obvious it's not going to work, but the total failure of these devices is hilarious, because they don't even like not work. They just are just not entities. They just like go like 2 feet, and then and it's really, really funny because it's like the worst kind of failure. Nish, by virtue of being stood somewhere else and not having a roller skate on it, gets 5 meters 30. And then Sally, I think she used like the cardboard tube that comes in carpets when they're all rolled up. It's not the most durable thing, and it like bends in half and doesn't really fulcrum. And so she gets 5 meters 50, mostly by the fact that the coconut was still attached to the end of the stick. And so when the stick hit the ground, that's how far away the coconut was. And so it's just, it's real bad. It's real bad. This did not go well for any of them.
That's why they're all shown together.
Yes, I'm aware. Great line from Ashling, I think, is, Alex and Greg are saying, could you imagine this and how bad it would be if it didn't work? And Ashling goes, I don't need to imagine, it happened.
Imagine getting less than that.
Yes.
Mighty Bowman.
I don't have to imagine, it's happened.
Next up, we have our 2 favorite nouns, Bob and Mark. Favorite verbs. I'm sorry, 2 favorite verbs, Bob and Mark. Mark looks for obvious coconut flinging devices, which, this is going to be a bit of insight into Mark Watson going on through this show. And then Bob, on the other hand, decides that he's going to practice his coconut flinging, which nobody else has done. And Alex allows it.
They didn't say you couldn't practice.
Yeah, nobody else does this. Bob just sort of realizes, wait a minute, I can practice before I actually do the attempt. And so he does. And, spoiler alert for like 20 seconds into this, Bob does get the furthest out of all of them. Mark,
He gets
okay,
the furthest,
we've
not including Mark.
yeah, we've got another thing, which is there's a couple more quotes. Have you seen Machines? I believe Bob says this, and then there's this lovely exchange between Mark and Alex, where Mark tries to defend the fact that a hat is a machine. I want you to just think about this for a second, listening audience. Mark Watson, honest to God, tried to explain that a hat was a machine.
Well, to be fair, though, it was on Wikipedia.
I do not believe that Mark Watson did not just edit Wikipedia, take a screenshot, and send that to Alex.
What type of was it? Did he type in machine? Was it machines to Wikipedia?
It was some kind. Yeah, it was something like that. I'm sure that if someone wants to go through Wikipedia,
I've gone
and
to the
see the edit history of that page, sometime when they filmed this, which is going to be presumably around when Bob Mortimer's birthday is.
I've got the Wikipedia page for machine, and there's only one. The word hat is used only once, and it's not even by itself. It's the first three letters of the word hath.
Mm-hmm. Because a hat is, spoiler alert, not a machine. I'm going to do something. I'm going to try and remember the simplest machines off the top of my head. And I think it's inclined plane, lever, screw.
A tap's quite a simple machine.
Something else. Hold on. Simple.
A tap is quite a simple machine, isn't it? I remember watching like a science show for kids when I was like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And the hostess, who was like a kid scientist, made her own tap out of like, when I say her own tap, it didn't like flow water, but if you poured some like little beads into it and you turn the crank, it wowould be able to have beans flowing out of it, or not.
No, I know what you're talking about, but simple machine is actually it's a specific term that is 6 specific devices that are normally grouped together by that are classified by Renaissance scientists. I'm on the Wikipedia page now. It's lever, wheel and axle, pulley, inclined plane, wedge, and screw. So notably among those is not the hat. Mark Watson, of course, doesn't really listen to this. He has a bowler hat, which I thought was funny as he tries to bowl this coconut around the lawn. Bob Mortimer uses a crutch as, I believe, just a big ass. I think it's just like a lever. I think this is sort of like how highlight works, is in this same sort of principle. Bob is shown first. He acts like his fling did not go that well because it ricochets off of the
hits
house
the side of the
Alex's
house,
and then hits Alex's iPad and turns off the timer. But which is hilarious. But it went further than anybody else's except Mark's. But that's because Mark threw the coconut in the hat.
Do you have distances? I can give the distances if you like.
Bob got 16 meters and 20, and Mark got 18 meters and 90.
Sally got 5 meters 50. Fat Indian Robin Hood got 5 meters 30, and Ashlyn got 4 meters 40. You can't. So the scores are pretty much as you'd expect, except Mark has been moved down to joint fourth with Nish. Do you have any?
Yeah, Mark is not. Greg did not disqualify Mark, but he specifically said that Mark couldn't get more than 2 points. I would differ in that this is horse shit. And
is it worth doing Taskmaster Joe?
No, Mark is just disqualified in my eyes because that's horse shit. Because if you wanted to absolutely be a pedant, you could argue that your arm is technically a lever.
Yeah,
You could
the
realistically
human body is a machine because it's got so many moving parts.
No, it's absolutely right, but I understand what they're saying, that like, a machine is something with like an implement, but you could realistically make the argument that your arm is a simple machine, specifically the lever, and that you could therefore just do an overhand toss of the coconut, I'm sorry, and that would count. And if you argued for like 20 minutes, I think you could make Greg understand that. But Mark Watson decided instead to say the hat is a machine, which is dumb. And so he doesn't get the points. If he'd said, I was using the hat as a basket and my arm is a lever and it's like a lacrosse stick, then I would be much more inclined to say that he should get the full points. But he doesn't because he's stupid.
Have you finished your hat rant?
This is not a hat rant. This is a machine rant.
It sounds better when you say the word rant.
But
should we talk about the next task?
Yes. Everyone else is scored by distance. Ashling and Mark both get 2 points, and then on
Nish and
to
Mark. Is it Nish?
Was it?
No, it is Ashling and Mark.
Ashling.
It is Ashling and Mark. Sorry.
Yeah. Task number 2: paint the best rainbow scene. This one's all you. I love this one.
What I love is they all enter with glow in the dark tape on them in the shape of a person.
Yeah. A lot of jokes are made about that.
Yeah. Bob says that it's not every day you wake up and someone's died on top of you.
Yeah. Just to get the location down, this is the lab, and all the lights are off.
All the lights are off, and there's also black paper covering all the walls.
There's an easel in one corner, and then everything else, like there's a bunch of paint pots around them, and there's glow-in-the-dark paint around those. And there's also, interestingly enough, a light switch in the back with glow-in-the-dark paint on it.
Yeah, but the light switch is you don't notice the light switch immediately. It's only when someone draws attention to it that you notice it.
I noticed it the first time.
I didn't notice it until the person found it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Nish states the obvious again. He finds out he's got to paint a scene of rainbow, and he's like,
"Oh, I can't see the colors."
Which also, I would like to point out that the task is specifically paint the best rainbow scene.
So it's going to have a rainbow in it, but not just a rainbow.
Yeah, I would have gotten caught by that, I feel, because rainbow scene doesn't mean anything to me. Like,
yeah.
I now that I've watched the task, I understand what that means, but in a vacuum, I would have no idea what rainbow scene means.
Okay, so I'm going to I don't have a lot to say about the painting process of each of these people. Bob's painting, I didn't write down. Obviously, it's got a rainbow, and it's there's a little man on it, and the man is called Matthew, and he's being chased by a policeman who you can't see.
Yes, the damn invisible police strike again. What is that? AI cab? All invisible cops are bastards. Anyways,
is that another God,
on the
what
fly
was
acronym? Yes, it is.
OTF.
OTFA, yes.
OTFA.
But
BDSTM/OTFA. That was the episode title.
But things just to note, Sally apparently tasted Marmite at one point, or she smelled Marmite, because people do try and get like off of thickness, and while I'm guessing Sally might have tasted her paint, and I don't know where Marmite came from, but she absolutely got that. I was hoping if you'd heard them say that they actually did use food.
I think they said they were infused with smells that you associated with the colors. So like that's what Alex said. So I think like the red paint would be infused with like something that smells of strawberries. The yellow paint would be infused with something that smells of lemons, and so on.
Okay. You associate red with strawberry?
Yeah. What do you associate it with?
Cherry.
I think this might be a different in culture.
Yeah, I was gonna say red normally. Red means like cherry. Pale red is like watermelon. Strawberry is. I mean, there's strawberry and there's raspberry, but those are not the normal red foods.
I think in Britain, because I mean, I assume you grow strawberries in America, but like a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of.
no, we have tons of them, but cherry is what I always associate.
I think it's just like I don't know. I've always associated strawberries with red, even though now that I think about it, I can't think of a single strawberry related product aside from strawberries themselves that are red. They're all pink. Strawberry ice
Strawberry
cream is
jam.
yeah, but strawberry ice cream is pink.
What color do you associate red? What flavor do you associate red with, audience? Leave us an email at ytsnpod@gmail.com or leave a comment on this YouTube video.
Anyway, Sally and Aisling, this is where we get the leprechaun and the lesbian title. Sally paints two lesbians, although one of them's in white paint, and Greg thinks the other one is dead. But what looks like the tombstone... Oh, what?
Oh, I was going to say they're testing their strength.
I was going to say that. They're doing a test your strength machine, but it ends up just looking like a grave of one of the lesbians.
Yep, and meanwhile, Aisling engages in Irish stereotyping.
Yeah, because like you can't draw a rainbow without a pot of gold at the end of it, and a nice little leprechaun smeared in his own shit.
It's funny because she's Irish, so she can make those jokes.
Should I just put the "Come on Ireland" thing Aisling says?
Yes, you should.
Come on, Ireland! Come on, Ireland.
Come on Ireland.
Mm-hmm. Right, then we get Nish Kumar.
Nish Kumar. So Nish works out. Like I said before, he states the obvious. He can't see the colors. So does he sniff them or does he just do them?
No, he smells them, but also screeches everything smells like lemon at one point.
Does he say shit and piss at one point? Is it shit and piss or piss and shit?
Might be piss and shit. I also don't remember.
Yeah, anyway, we see Nish's picture. It's actually a really, really nice rainbow, let down by the fact that it is just the rainbow in the picture and not an actual scene.
Yeah, we're going to get to this when we do Taskmaster Joe. I am not as, inclined to knock him down points for this, for not having a scene. Because, the rest of these are awful. Nish's is the only aesthetically pleasing rainbow.
Yeah, it's the easiest on the eyes, just sad it wasn't a scene. But anyway, Mark Watson, this moment here reminds me very much of Hugh Dennis's mirror decision in the paint the best picture of this person.
It does! I hadn't thought of that. Because
the thing, your laugh doesn't like register the start of you laugh. It didn't register the start of your laugh, so I just heard kind of like that.
Oh God! But
I should be quiet because my housemates are. Yeah. Anyway, what Mark does is he notices the light switch, which is lit up by the same glow in the dark tape. The task just says you can't leave the room. It's like a psychological manipulation into thinking.
I also am like curious why nobody like pulled out their cell phone flashlight.
I think that maybe for this task they had their phones taken away from them.
True.
Anyway. Sorry, I had to yawn. That just goes to show how late it is here. Mark turns on the light and we can see properly how the lab has changed. There's now black felt or something on all the walls. Also, here's the thing I didn't realize about the lab. It's not shown in this task. So I think it was in the hide and seek task. But you only see 3 walls of the lab. Behind the 4th wall is a window. No, I mean, like, not behind it, but there is a window in the 4th wall.
Yeah.
I think we only see it once in the hide and seek task where they have the GoPros. But anyway, Mark turns the lights on and you'd think this would allow him to paint a perfect rainbow. And the rainbow itself is all right.
No, it's not. It's awful.
No, I'm getting to the big problem. It's like Bubble Bass saying, this Krabby Patty is good, except for one thing. You forgot the pickles. Do you remember that SpongeBob episode?
That is going. I remember very early SpongeBob very clearly, but it is 2022, and that episode is almost old enough to drink in the United States.
I think it would be. It's like 21. Don't you have to be 21 to drink in the States?
Yeah, I don't remember when that episode came out. That episode must have been older than
must
you.
have been. Yeah, must have been like 99 or something.
You keep talking. I'll Google it.
Anyway, so Mark's rainbow is all right, apart from one thing. It is not curved. It looks like a pride flag without the semblance of it being a flag.
It's very slightly curved. Oh, okay. So episode Pickles, which from season 1 of SpongeBob came out August 21st, 1999. That episode is 23 years old.
Do you know Bubble Bass's order by heart?
Oh, it's some ridiculous meal that's concocted out of like a lot of backroom diner slang that he basically wants it burnt, covered in grease, piled like 4 or 5 high on Texas toast with extra everything.
This is Bubble Bass's order. I'll take a double triple bossy deluxe on a raft 4x4 animal style, extra shingles with a shimmy and a squeeze, light axle grease, make it cry, burn it, and let it swim.
We serve food here, sir.
And then SpongeBob gets it. He gets it right away. I've definitely I know.
How did we reach this point? How did we reach this point? Anyway,
you posted on Reddit that you wanted to start a Taskmaster podcast.
We did. Yes, I did. Anyway, there's 2 people in the picture, both looking at the rainbow. Well, one of them. Is it 2 people or one person?
What?
One person pointing at the rainbow and saying, wow. And at the weirdly flat rainbow. And when Greg calls out Mark for not painting the rainbow curved, Mark says, why don't you turn to the witnesses? They're saying, wow. Like, literally, all of them had the excuse for the painting to be shit, except Mark.
Yeah. And
That's
Mark's
what makes his defeat
great.
even worse.
I also thought Mark's was out of order, but I don't remember. I think his is out of order.
Like, how hard is it?
Because Mark's is...
I don't have a picture for reference, so yeah.
I'm looking at it. Red, orange, yellow, blue. Roy G. Biv is the color thing. So it's
Richard of York gave battle in vain.
Yeah, in America it's Roy G. Biv. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Why is there brown on it? There's brown in his.
I don't know.
Do they not have indigo and violet? They mentioned something.
Well, Alex says that he doesn't include indigo and violet. He says Richard of York gave battle purple is what he uses to remember the system.
That's true. It's in the correct order, but there's just brown in the middle of it for some reason. Not in the middle, at the very between blue and violet.
Anyway,
anyways, continuing.
Scores. Aisling and Sally, it was very close for Greg between the leprechaun or the lesbian, but he decided to give it to the shit-smeared leprechaun. Because
he could not disprove that this is not how leprechauns act.
The dead lesbian gets 4th. Mark amazingly gets 3rd. Nish gets 4th, and Bob gets 1 point.
And then I
Should
did
I play
it a little
Taskmaster
differently.
Joe?
Yes, you should.
Taskmaster Joe.
Hit me with it.
Okay, so in last place is the lesbians because it's not that great of a painting. In 4th place is the shit-smeared leprechaun. Bob's... What did Bob do? Bob had the man being chased by the invisible police. That's in 3rd place.
Matthew.
Mark gets 2nd place because it's not terrible. It's identifiable as a rainbow, but it is really let down by the fact that he did not do it in the dark. And then finally, Nish gets first because it looks great, and he did it in the dark, which is, so much more impressive when you compare it to Mark Watson's.
Indeed it is.
So,
Yeah. VT Task 3, these are two quite quick tasks, so
yeah,
we
3
should
and
treat
4
them
are
as
very
such.
quick.
If we can be done by an hour and 20, that would be great.
Yep. Task 3 starts in the caravan. There is a loaf of bread in the lab. Slice the loaf as neatly as possible. You may use one tool only, and that tool must be found in this caravan. You have 5 minutes. Your time starts now. Immediately, there's a red herring because there's a loaf of bread in the caravan. Now, I thought that everybody would ignore that, and then Alex would reveal that the loaf of bread had like a knife baked into it. No, it's just there to catch stupid people like Aisling, who rips the lid off of a tin can, cuts herself with it quite badly in the process, and cuts that loaf, and never even goes into the house. What's really great is she read the task out loud and then immediately began doing it wrong. So anyway, that's Aisling. Mark
Also, a
and
tad
Nish.
insult to injury, she cut herself.
Oh yeah, no, it's bloody bread, and she just is bad at this.
Like,
Um,
literal insult to injury.
Yeah. Yeah. Mark and Nish are shown together. Mark uses a wire rack from the oven, and Nish grabs the book Through the Christian Year by Godfrey Bradby and some other guy from 1934, which I need to just state this again to make sure that you all heard me. Nish Kumar, when told to grab something to cut bread, looks around the caravan, which admittedly there's not a knife there because obviously, ignores everything else and grabs a hard-backed book. Is this stupidity or genius? It's stupidity, but it works better than anything else we see in this entire episode. And
Yeah,
I'm
Nish
mad
gets
about
5
it.
points.
Nish wins, and we'll get to why in a second. But anyways, Nish does very good slices with the cover of the book, gets like a couple slices down, and is done. Mark's wire rack, for some reason, doesn't cut as well as a hardback book, which is a great sentence to have to say out loud. And it just doesn't work as well. He kind of massacres it and gets it done. Mark also comments on why Nish comments on why he and Mark are often shown together, because he said when Mark pulled out the wire rack from the oven, he's like, that man is a genius. So that is why they're together. Then we get the adults. Bob grabs a toothbrush and dental floss, and he was originally going to try and like use the dental floss to cut it, because there are ways of cutting stuff with a string. If you're ever like really into art, you can do that with clay and a piece of wire. But doesn't work, so he cuts it with the toothbrush. Sally Phillips enters wearing gloves and bearing the tin can and dental floss. Takes the lid off the tin can, tries to cut it. I don't think it works that well. She also uses the dental floss, and naturally, it's immediately pointed out, why is Sally wearing gloves? Because we learned from someone else. Pointed look at Aisling. Bob absolutely massacres his bread. Sally's are much neater, but they both have these enormous like cubes of bread.
They're not slices of bread; they're hunks of bread.
They have sliced it into fourths, which is really strange. But unfortunately, Bob and Sally are disqualified because they both
more
grabbed
than one
dental,
item.
They grabbed dental floss in addition to something else. And Aisling was disqualified because she didn't cut the correct loaf of bread. Nish and Mark are absolutely shitting themselves in
They are elated.
Because this is like, they have done it the worst way possible and they won. They came first and second,
and everyone else gets DQ. This gave them
nothing.
This gave them the boost they needed to put them in contention to win the episode. The scores, because I should mention the scores at this point. Sally's on 13. Mark and Nish are in joint second on 11, and then Bob and Sally are on 10.
Yeah, and then
either of them.
We do,
and there's 2 more tasks after this. So yeah. Oh, if you thought that was good, then you should see the scores in the next task. But yeah, what were you saying?
Oh, I was just going to say, can I just point out for the next one when we get to it, because the next one that's it for this task. Actually, we're on to the next one. I love the toy crane. They have, and then it breaks.
I think it breaks out of water because of water damage.
It does, because they're filming that intro bit when it's raining, and the crane breaks as it's delivered. Because there's a toy crane that delivers the task, because they're about to use
with the Bob, Sally, and Aisling. The crane gets on all right, but with Mark and Nish, it's raining.
When they're doing Woomar, they do the crane breaks. It's really funny.
It is funny. Speaking of that, that task, VT Task 4. It's the first team task of the series. Achieve the greatest splat. As I think we alluded to, and I'm sure to absolutely no one's surprise, Mark and Nish are on one team, and Aisling, Bob, and Sally are on the other.
Yeah, and one teammate must be splatted for the splat to be valid, and then you have 10 minutes to pull off your splat. And
let's just say Bob, Aisling, and Sally plan to drop green balloons of something. I think, was it flour?
It sounded like some kind of like creamy rice, I thought was what they were saying, but also one
yellow balloon filled with piss.
With a little bit of Bob's piss, which, did anybody else have an immediate dirty joke come to mind when they started talking about splatting that much, or was it just me? It might have just been me.
It might have just been you, and that's saying something considering I'm the dirty-minded one here.
Yeah, I also they call it warm fun.
Oh god.
Which doesn't help at all. And a crane will be provided is my favorite part of this, because it's
more like a cherry picker.
It's a scissor lift. I am a licensed scissor lift driver.
Oh, okay.
I've taken a course to do that. What the fuck is this thing? I've never seen one that big before. It has off-road tires and everything. There's like, this is the biggest fucking off-road scissor lift I have ever seen in my life. It goes up like 50 feet in the air. It has outrigger legs that lift the wheels off the ground. The extendable platform at the end, it goes out so far that it looks like it must be like 10 feet long.
Shall I give you a moment or two to finish wanking over this scissor lift?
I've never seen something that big. It's almost as big as the boom lift I have at work.
That's what she said.
Yeah, whatever. This is an enormous scissor lift. I've never seen one that big before, and this is definitely like I've been on a lot of construction sites. I've been on a lot of job sites. Normally they are like to put it in car terms, the normal ones are like the Gee Whiz of old Top Gear fame that they make fun of, and this one's like the new GMC Hummer EV that's like 10 times the size. I've never seen one that big. Okay, that's it. I'm sorry.
Anyway, Mark and Nish decide to splat yogurt because yogurt's a good splatting material. I don't have a lot to say about either of these two. The green balloons didn't originally burst on impact with Sally. She had to use a spear to pop them.
No, they gave Sally a sword, which I love. It was Bob's idea because, of course, it was. Sally was supposed to hold the sword up in the air and pierce them as they came down on her. Didn't quite work. Also, Bob and Aisling thought that Sally was going to fucking die because these whatever.
I thought Mark was going to die.
No, but Bob and Aisling were like, she's gonna die because it's this. These are like these balloons fall and they don't bounce; they just go boom. They are dense motherfuckers, and I like Sally's wearing like a full helmet. Mark is not wearing a full helmet. Sally's wearing like a full motorcycle helmet.
Also,
because if one of these landed on their head, it might have killed her.
Wait, can I just think? What? I know Bob said it, but which task did he say shit it's thick in?
I don't remember. It might have been the paint one. It was
Yeah.
the paint one.
Shit it's thick is a great quote, but you saying dense motherfuckers is a brilliant quote as well.
Oh, thank you. Anyways, Sally then has to chase down.
Also, shit it's thick should be the description for this episode.
Sure, we can do that. Anyway, Sally has to chase down the balloons while shouting "die" over and over again. Yeah. There's also condoms that are thrown for some reason with stuff in them. It seems like it was Bob's idea. There's a view from the top of the scissor lift looking down at Sally, and it's this wonderful multicolored pattern of everything around her, and it's really nice. It's really nice. Not quite as good as what happens with Wumar, though.
No, it's not. But yeah, very quickly about Mark and Nish. Nish just pours all the yogurt on Mark. Well, he pours a little bit. He pours a little bit first, so Mark knows where to lie. And then Nish just empties the yogurt all over him, and Mark compares it to being shot at. And then we see him just like dead there. Like Mark literally died.
They've got 2 buckets of yogurt, and it is absolutely hilarious because I wish they'd shown Mark standing up at the end of it, because I'm almost certain there would have been a Mark Watson shaped hole in the yogurt. It's all pink too. They asked for like no fat yogurt or low fat, and it's great because it's just utterly it's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. I love it.
Yeah. But the art to the simplicity of the yogurt and Mark just lying dead at the end is what gave Wumar the slight edge over the grown-ups. I say grown-ups. Aisling is younger than Mark.
I have the grown-ups plus Aisling.
So the grown-ups plus Aisling get 2. Mark and Nish get 3. Do you have any objections?
No. I love what Mark and Nish did.
Anyway, it's your turn to do the live task.
Live task.
We're motoring through at quite a good pace, and we still had some good banter in.
Live task. This one's great. So picture this in your mind. Open up. These idiots have their faces pressed through holes in an easel. Like they are wearing
holes in a canvas.
Holes in a canvas. Whatever
the easel is the thing you rest the canvas on to paint.
It's whatever it is, because they've got their faces through it. It's resting around.
Did you know Big Ben is not actually the name of the clock tower?
It's the name of the internal mechanism and the clock face itself. The actual tower is, I think,
Elizabeth Tower.
Elizabeth Tower. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Anyway, yes. Keep going.
But yeah, no, I couldn't think of the actual name for what it was, but they've got it. It goes down to like their crotch. It's like almost like a smock made out of a canvas board.
I thought it was just. Oh yeah, I thought you were talking about the overalls, but no, yeah.
No, it's really weird. Just go look at the episode and you'll see what I'm talking about. Anyways, they are told to paint the most recognizable animal, vegetable, or mineral with their face pressed firmly through their hole at all times. They must incorporate their face in the picture. Most accurate representation of an animal, vegetable, or mineral wins. You have 3 minutes.
Can I just ask, what is a mineral?
A rock.
Okay.
Minerals are like this is a
so
joke.
Only 3 of these people painted things that actually could be.
Yes, no.
Four of these people. Sorry,
I was going to actually comment on that because animal, vegetable, and mineral is a bit of a joke because this is how you start a game of 20 questions. Is it an animal, vegetable, or a mineral? is like the default start answer to 20 questions.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
and so nobody did a mineral. Aisling did an animal. I thought it was a dog, but it turns out it was a cat. And then Nish, Sally, and Mark, independently of each other, decided they were going to do a carrot. And it, like, nobody noticed until Greg and Alex pointed it out. And I think Mark and Sally turned at each other, realized that they've all done the same thing, and start painting each other's faces, which is really funny, top tier stupidity from these people. I love it. It's great. And then we have Bob Mortimer, who's painting something else that we'll get to in a second.
Aisling.
Then we're done. And
Did we talk
they
about
come back
Aisling?
Yes, I did. She's doing a dog-cat amalgamation.
Well, a cat with a large penis, as Greg describes.
Yeah, I thought it was a dog, but whatever. It's an animal. We can easily recognize it. They come back to the seats, and they still have paint on their faces, which is really funny. They're still wearing overalls and like have orange paint on their faces and in their hair, and it's great. Greg identifies everybody else, and then he and Bob. He actually has to ask Bob, "What the fuck did you paint?" We're going to say it together so that you don't just lie. And can you just play that soundbite here of what Bob Mortimer painted?
After three, 3, 2, 1.
Ice cream cone. Yeah.
Great. I would like to point out something very important is that ice cream isn't a mineral or an animal or a vegetable.
Jesus
this is
Christ,
not a thing.
Shut. Please move away from your microphone, please.
Ice cream is not any of the things listed on the task.
Please have mercy. Have mercy on my ears.
No. If Mark Watson gets yelled at for not painting a scene in his rainbow painting, then Bob Mortimer should have gotten yelled at for the fact that it's not fucking a rock. It's not a fucking rock. It's not a mineral. It's not a vegetable. It's not an animal. Well, it's ice cream. And so Greg gives him 4 points because he had some doubts about it. And also, they were going to ask. Alex did ask that if it mattered that Nish and Sally. Oh, it was Nish. I'm sorry. Nish and Sally painted each other's faces, and it's just a game.
Certainly shouldn't. It certainly shouldn't. Right. I think.
It doesn't. I don't think that was even on the task. It's like that's. It never said that you had to paint yourself, but I just want to say that like nobody even mentions that ice cream's not a mineral. Which I think is just the dumbest thing.
It's bullshit.
It is. Anyways, end the episode. Sally Phillips wins.
Even though it was close for Wumar.
It was close, but she wins. She goes on, puts like 4 of the hats on herself at the same... 3 of the hats on herself at the same time, leaves the neon Taskmaster hat by itself, and that's the episode. More or less.
That is the end. We are done in a trim hour 9 minutes.
Yay!
Well, without sound bites and stuff.
Yep. Yay!
I'm enjoying these shorter episodes. It means less work for us to edit. I mean, for me to edit.
Less work. I was going to say less work for you. I throw these into my video editor and I leave them for an hour. They're done.
Shit, it's thick.
Right. That's all I got. Do you have anything?
I'm just trying to think. Hang on.
What?
Oh, I just basically deep throated my mic.
Yay! Didn't really come through that well. Anyways, that's all from us. Goodbye, everybody.
See ya, bitches.
Thanks, Emerson.